Hey guys, Dov here, back with another unit highlight for Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer. Today we're reaching back I want to say like a week ago maybe, a King of the Hill I had by the time you're seeing this, to feature Sisters of Thorn, a very underrated unit. Used to see these girls a lot more, but not so much anymore. They do have quite a bit to offer, but a little bit of a strange unit on the base of it. Here, they're going to be supporting a couple of Wild Riders with shields. We've got Durthu, some trees, 3 Way Watchers, of course, and some spears, along with a Branch Wraith for the Tomb Kings. They're up against Arkan the Foul on his evil chariot. We got Tomb Prince, 2 Shabti Great Bows, plus Eyes of the Desert Sepulchral Stalkers, some Tomb Guard, and some Skeletons, and some Nekara Horsemen, along with Skeleton Horsemen Archers. So, back to Sisters of Thorn. What do they offer? Well, on the face of it, it's a little bit strange. They've only got 36 models and pretty low HP overall, less than 4,000 HP. They do very solid missile damage though, 10 AP per shot with 20 missile damage. I don't remember exactly how this compares. I think it's pretty close to Marauders, I want to say. Marauder Horsemen. I'll have to double check after. But, yeah, also Poison, which recently got the change that no longer affects friendly troops. That actually has made Sisters of Thorn probably more useful than they've ever been, considering. But looks like we've got a Fate of Buna going down on one of these Wild Riders here. That is going to do a ton of damage, of course. But Sisters, they do have pretty decent melee stats. They're almost ethereal, have a ton of physical resistance, like something like 40%. We'll check that in just a second. But more importantly, they come with a number of support abilities. Decent melee stats, like I said, 30 charge, not the best, especially considering the cost. These girls are quite expensive. But that Shield of Thorns, they have 2 casts, and Curse of Onra Air, they have 1 cast to give physical resistance and weapon damage, of course, with Shield of Thorns. And Curse of Onra Air is both speed and melee attack debuff. So here they're kind of being used to support these Wild Riders, ping-ponging around with them, not only providing the poison of their missiles in support, but also can provide those abilities if they get to a melee engagement. That's allowing, as he's kind of ping-ponging back and forth, that's allowing these Way Watchers to pick and choose their targets and just kind of eliminate them. You see the Eyes of the Desert just got absolutely gatted right there. Now Arkan is in extreme danger. He needs to pull back and away as quickly as possible. Tomb Kings are responding, though, lighting up Durthu with those Ushabti Great Bows. He is very quickly taking a lot of damage, but this is an interesting build from Wood Elves against Tomb Kings. It's kind of the old classic target overload strategy, right? Because the Wild Riders plus the Sisters of Thorn are a pretty big threat in and of themselves, especially to all this skeleton infantry. Durthu is obviously a giant threat. The Way Watchers are also a big threat, and so you kind of have this distributed killing power across the army where the Ushabti Great Bows, they need to kill a lot of different things to really be effective, and Arkan, likewise, same thing on his chariot, but there's just not enough power there. They can't shoot all, or, you know, roll over all of the different units at the same time. Here, the Ushabti summon being used, and yeah, I don't know, I've been watching, I haven't seen, might have missed it, the actual abilities go off in terms of the Curse of Onra and Shield of Thorns. I do want to say that when I casted this live, I saw the uses of it, but maybe not. Regardless, though, still a very good use case, kind of having them ping-ponging around together, and you can see that they've been able to stay pretty healthy, not overstaying their engagements, you know, ping-ponging as much as possible, trying to stay mobile. And then, of course, the Sisters of Thorn, like I said, decent AP values on those javelins. They can actually skirmish heavy cavalry reasonably well. If you look back in the older replays of Wood Elves on my channel, try and remember to get the Wood Elves playlist updated with some of them if I can, but I used to use Sisters of Thorn quite a bit, actually, to help control heavy cavalry movements, because with the Poison and the Curse of Onra, you can do a massive speed debuff, and the missiles will do a surprising amount of damage. There we can see an Earthblood heals all of them. They do have a pretty good amount of HP per model as well, but now in the late game, the Tomb Kings are very tattered. They're trying now to shoot the Wild Rider blob with their Ushabti Great Bows. Durthu's already gone down, but it's not enough at this point. Arkan the Black's chariot goes down, although the horses haven't got the memo and still appear to be in some sort of undeath curse. We'll not pay attention to that, but yeah. Ushabti Great Bows having to be used to charge Way Watchers in melee, really not the best. Wild Riders and Sisters following up behind. There's a Shield of Thorns, rather, on those Way Watchers. Keep them nice and healthy while the Reindeer Cavalry connects on the charge. And that's pretty much game for the Tomb Kings. And we'll do some comparisons and some kind of analysis of Sisters of Thorn in general in the late game, and I'll talk about some other use cases for them. But I really liked it in this build here, kind of using them as support for Wild Riders. Like, you maybe argue, yeah, you just take 3 Wild Riders, but I like the use of Sisters of Thorn as a support tool. And also, again, because of the poison contact effect change, I expect to start seeing these girls a lot more than previously. I mean, they've kind of gone through phases in the meta where they were more popular, but right now it seems like you don't see them maybe quite as often as you should. Well played to both players, very fun game with Valkanos and Dactyr here. Dactyr utilizing the Sisters very well. They didn't end up getting too many kills, but I mean, the fact that, especially like the Wild Riders they were with and themselves are both relatively healthy, kind of goes to give them credit. Yeah, in terms of comparisons here, let's just quickly touch on a couple things. So there's not really a lot of direct comparisons for Sisters of Thorn. They're a little bit of a strange unit in that way, but just sort of stat analysis here. The physical resistance, as I mentioned, very nice. 40% means you're on point, hit and run charging, and not staying in engagements for too long. Against things that don't have magic damage, you can actually take quite a surprisingly low amount of damage. Of course, the physical resistance of Shield of Thorns makes that even higher, to where they're almost ethereal, pretty much. And of course, Curse of Onrare can give them some defensive capabilities by debuffing opponents' melee attack, but you definitely want to use those in support of other engagements if you can. As for comparisons to other missile damage, if we go here... Yeah, actually, I said previously that they have the highest, that Pistoliers have the highest DPS, and that is true because of the model count here, but you can see Horse Masters actually per model do less damage, and yeah, if we have a look, Sisters of Thorn, 10 AP, what was it, 10 and 20? Relatively easy to remember, 10 AP, 20 non-AP. Here we've got 8 and 18, so very nice damage on the javelins given the lower model count, but 1200 points means they do have to do a lot of damage in order to pay for themselves purely that way, which is why these support abilities are really where a lot of it comes in. They are great hybrid utility, like I said, against lower tier stuff, especially that physical resistance. 33 melee defense is good enough that charging things like, you know, most low tier infantry, not going to have too much problems as long as you don't sit on top of them for too long. But yeah, another kind of, I guess, maybe a comparable unit, like a support magic light cavalry, would be Doomfire Warlocks. If we go ahead and take a look at Dark Elves, Doomfire Warlocks are a unit that I'm not super up on right now. I think they're maybe a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Overhyped? I can't even remember the name. Overrated. I can't even remember the name of my own series. Come on. Same price as Sisters of Thorn. They have more models, and they're a melee-centric unit, but you notice they only have 45 more HP, considering that they have more unit models. 9 more unit models means that the Sisters actually have much more HP per model, and because they can be healed in practice, they end up being a lot tankier than Doomfire Warlocks. They also just have better melee defense and attack. Much less weapon damage and charge bonus, though. A lot of their damage is wrapped up in that javelin. But the support spells are a kind of a wash, I would say. Shield of Thorns is very good. Curse of Onrare is, it's good. It's not one of the best debuffs in the world to pay for in terms of magic, but to get it for free as a bound spell is really nice. Here, Soul Blight's also quite nice. Lesser Doom Bolt is pretty good as well. So both these support abilities are decent, but poison in melee instead of poison at range, and they also have magic attacks. So there's some differences there. Looks like, yeah, they actually don't have Strider, which is interesting. Sisters of Thorn, of course, have Woodsman. Yeah, just in general, I would say Sisters of Thorn, pretty underrated unit now, especially with the contact effect change. Like, Glade Riders, for a similar reason, are very strong, but the Sisters of Thorn, I would say, is going to be... You should start seeing these girls a lot more, definitely. And that's basically it for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.